Each one of us is aware of the environmental crisis, where the natural world is facing great challenges and degradation. But do we really understand the true extent of these changes and deprivation the environment faces? Melting glaciers, droughts, forest fires, disruption of natural habitats. The world is at crossroads, and the need to stop this rampant environment degradation is now.
India has to be part of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and as part of that, all of us have been asked to now focus more on the sustainability of the environment, which we have probably neglected for several years, for the past 40 years or so.
When social responsibility becomes an integral part of a company's business model, it not only builds a relationship with the customer, but also the community. Hello and welcome, I'm Samriti Grover, and in this episode of Agents of Change, a Times CSR initiative, we feature one such organization that is striving to make this world a better place through its consistent efforts, Aveva and its philosophy of action for good.
Collective action is the need of the hour. It is very important that apart from policy intervention by the government and people working in the social sector, large conglomerates too play an important role in sustaining the environment. A collaborative effort between all is the only way to ensure sustainable interventions.
Sustainability is definitely a key priority for Aveva and our people, and that's why we are here. And whatever initiative we take around social well-being, we call it Aveva Action for Good.
If you look at all the UN predictions and all the global predictions which are going on, the time to act on environment is now. And since Hyderabad is taking this lead in these activities, and we are also promoting it in a big way, both water conservation, sanitation, and also greening the city. So we're quite focused on it, and I think the focus has to be more, even at the individual level, at a personal level from all the people. Otherwise, we are facing a point of no return.
Aveva Action for Good program supports global and regional social well-being initiatives that make a positive difference to the workplace, its communities, and the environment. And this plantation drive is just a small step towards fulfilling that vision. Sustained efforts towards protecting the environment is the only way to give our future generations clean air to breathe. We spoke to the architects of the CSR framework at Aveva about the idea behind this drive.
Aveva in India embarked on a mission to increase the green cover across the country. Thus began the journey of Aveva's Action for Good, a flagship program keeping UN sustainability goals as a drawing board, and hence the inception of organizing a mass plantation drive in the city of Hyderabad. I'm now joined by James Kidd, who's the Deputy CEO and CFO at Aveva. Thank you, James, for joining us on this show. Let me begin by asking you the whole idea about, Action for Good and the theme. What is the idea behind it, and what are the kind of causes that it supports?
Yeah, so Aveva Action for Good is Aveva's social responsibility commitment, which allows our people to make a difference to our world. And it's a key area of focus for the company.
So, we know that Aveva has worked quite extensively, whereas the CSR initiatives across different regions, not only in India but globally, is concerned. What have been the key focus areas?
Yeah, so Aveva Action for Good is based around the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And there's three cornerstones to that: community, workplace and environment. Community is basically in the areas that we operate, how we support local communities. Environment, really caring for the environment, improving air quality and such like. And workplace, how we can make the environment our people work in much better. We're launching a CSR activity in Hyderabad for a forestation project which involves over 300 of our employees planting 1,500 saplings in an area around Hyderabad, and we think it's a fantastic project which will help improve air quality in Hyderabad. And it's one that our employees care very passionately about, so it's one that we felt was a great way to support our CSR activities.
I'm great you talked about the employees and their participation. Since you're also the chair of the CSR committee, how do you make sure that this do-good approach that we're talking about actually trickles top down, because it's the vision that needs to be shared by every employee working for the organization?
Sure, yeah, so I'm the chair of the Aveva Action for Good committee. We then have regional committees which then report into the global committee, and those are represented by employees. So it's employees really who are driving this, and we're supporting them with money and time off from the company, but really it's employee driven, and we want it to really drive local initiatives and make sure everyone in our regional offices get involved in these activities.
Although we're talking about the India chapter right now, but I believe globally CSR is also a big thing and a commitment that Aveva has sort of committed itself to. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, so it's a global initiative, so India is obviously a key part of that, being our largest employer in the group. So globally we're committing 1% of our profits to Aveva Action for Good, which is a substantial amount of money. That involves both financial contribution and 1 day off per year for each employee. So it's a substantial commitment we're making, and each of the employees can use that day off to get involved in local activities such as the forestation project we've got here in Hyderabad.
Well, thank you so much, James, for talking to us, and the very best of luck for the plantation drive.
Thank you very much.
Today we are at the Hyderabad University campus where Aveva's Action for Good afforestation drive is taking place, where the employees are planting 1,500 saplings and connecting with the cause of the environment. The other partners in this effort are the Times of India, the University of Hyderabad and the Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation.
Aveva's top management planted the first sapling, ushering into a commitment of a greener tomorrow for our future generations. The enthusiasm, the dedication, and above all, the will to work towards this cause was truly infectious. Even the heavy rains didn't deter the employees as they continued their task with all the vigor and encouragement.
It's too close to my heart, something which touches to the people's life, be it today or tomorrow. If I can do something a small bit, and leave something for my generation hereafter, is something which surely touches, and today's environmental situation is not hidden from anyone.
The massive cutting and the destruction of the trees for the purpose of industrialization and urbanization is good till certain extent, but along with that, afforestation should also go along. I know trees are important and they provide a lot of raw material for us. I completely agree with that, but there is a destruction and there is no growth. Afforestation should also be going on side by side, and when someone is initiating this, I would completely support to their cause.
Greater Hyderabad Municipal Corporation and University of Hyderabad play an important role in making this drive a success. The saplings have been planted inside the university campus, and GHMC will ensure their sustenance as they become full-grown trees.
We are joining hands with other organizations, particularly with the GHMC. The GHMC has joined us in planting 100,000 saplings in one single day 3 years ago, and now we are joining hands with Times of India, GHMC and Aveva together, coming forward for this plantation.
So the message which goes out when we have a drive is, number one, the number of people who participate in it. Some people don't even know the techniques of doing a plantation, let's say. So when we do it on a drive mode, people know that this can be done in this way, and they can also take it up individually. The second point which comes across is that people also know that yes, we are making an effort to green your city, increase your health parameters. So they can also, how they can contribute and be a part of it. So when there is a collective ownership by government, by communities, by people and by all stakeholders, then the effectiveness of a program is much more higher.
The idea is to work towards good and make sure everyone in the organization is also aligned to the same vision and thought.
We're now joined by Navtej Grewal, who's the head of India operations at Aveva. Welcome, Navtej, to the show.
Thank you.
So, how many trees do you plan to plant during this drive, and what is really the plan that they can be taken care of?
So we're planting 1,500, of which we're expecting 80% to survive. And in order to sustain those, we'll be working alongside both those organisations with our team and our team of staff and volunteers to ensure that these trees survive and are given the best chance to grow into large trees for the future. So that's the plan. But we don't see this as a one-off engagement. Our employees are very keen that once the trees have been planted, that they successfully mature and grow. And we'll be supporting our employees in that initiative. And we don't do things as a one-off. We like to do things properly, and we'll be definitely looking after them.
Can you talk about a few more initiatives like these where, that has really motivated your employees to come out and work towards particular causes?
Yeah, I mean, we're very proud that all our employees globally, and Aveva is a large global organisation, employees all over the world have been involved in lots of different projects, interesting projects. So a couple of those are the work we've done with the homeless in the UK, which even in a modern society like England, it's quite shocking how many people do find themselves homeless. So it's been really good that our team there and our colleagues there have been involved, providing help for homeless people, providing them with food and providing them with support. Another really interesting project has been our team in the Middle East from our Dubai office who've been working at the Jebel Ali Sanctuary. And even in our modern city there's waste and litter that's collected on the beach, and they've been going through clearing that and making the beaches clean and safe for animals and for other people to enjoy. So there's lots of different global activities, and each global region chooses what is passionate for them, and we support that.
Time for a quick break, but when we return, we take you straight onto ground zero and speak to some more employees on this initiative.
Welcome back. You're watching Agents of Change, a Times CSR initiative with me, Samriti Grover. Now, Aveva's afforestation drive is underway and the energy of the employees is truly infectious. The idea is to not just plant these saplings, but sustain them for a massive green cover. Let's take you on ground.
Ideally, there are many reasons that have inspired me. Mostly there are two main reasons that have inspired me. Basically to give a greener world to the next generation so that all the living things on this planet can coexist together, and also to control the climatic conditions to improve or purify the air.
So charity begins from the home, right? And we can do it right from our home by waste management, plastic waste management, and water conservation, plantation of trees. So there are lots of drives that we can actually start from our home, rather than going to society. And each individual can bring one, and we can do it as a uniform nature, and it can just go from the one to the mass to the society and can contribute as a mass.
This series that we are running is called Agents of Change, where we feature corporates who are giving back to the society through their CSR initiatives. So how at Aveva you think that the Agents of Change philosophy fits in really well?
I think the Agent of Change philosophy fits in very well with what Aveva is trying to achieve. We want to be the world's best industrial software company, and we want to do that in the right way. And we also believe that our employees work with us because they want to do things in the right way. And as part of that, we do believe that morally and ethically there are certain values that each company should have. And in our Agents of Change philosophy, we believe our CSR can give us those ethical and moral values to not only help us achieve our goals, which is to be the world leader and the thought leader in what we do, but also give us leadership in providing something back to society and the world that we live in.
So how do you really match the employee vision and belief with the whole, Action for Good Aveva vision that is present?
Employee input is central to Aveva Action for Good. It's very much driven by what our employees want to do, based on the areas that we're very committed to, such as the environment and education and health. So we are always canvassing our employees for ideas. There's regional committees, and these regional committees look at different programs we can be involved in. So we can work with our employees to help them channel their visions and beliefs into our CSR program.
Well, on that note, thank you so much, Navtesh, for joining us.
Thank you.
The act of plantation is an important step towards giving back to the society. As this partnership is an effort amongst different agencies, both public and private, this will ensure that drives like these will be conducted regularly.
Corporates contribute in two ways. One is their funding, of course, but though the state is also doing massive funding towards this program, any additional funding is obviously appreciated. More than that, the volunteer participation by the corporates, because they intend to reach out to a larger population who are residents of Hyderabad. So when their employees come and participate, they also get the awareness that they need to be sustainable and green more. So that kind of awareness which spreads. If one employee comes and he takes it to his or her family, this is 4-member people who are actually converted to a green cause. So that impact is much more, and that is what we are looking for.
There is a need for increased awareness, and this should spread into the minds of every citizen. Unless it spreads into the minds of the people that there is a need for sustainability, and I'm sure it is the corporates who are well educated. So many of you are working for the corporates, and all of you start realizing the importance of it and join hands with the public establishments. I think this is a wonderful activity, and this is going to contribute to largely to the sustainability part of the ecosystem.
Being one of the world's leading engineering software provider, Aveva is committed to create a sustainable world, and such plantation drives is a firm step towards that commitment. Aveva's employees have in the past organized many fundraising and charitable activities, and Action for Good will help employees engage within their communities and support such environmental initiatives in the future as well.
I'm now joined by Basant Tripathi, who's the head of talent acquisition and engagement at Aveva. Thank you so much, Basant, for joining us. We've talked about environment as a cause. We've seen the plantation drive right now. And but what I want to ask you is, in the Aveva scheme of things, what are we doing to ensure sustainable environment practices?
Yeah, so through our Action for Good program, we support our people who get involved in a lot of sustainability initiative in their local communities. And in our workplace, we are trying hard to become more sustainable by limiting our use of single-use plastic. We are also looking for more renewable energy sources, solar options, and a lot of other such initiatives. And Aveva Action for Good makes it sustainability as a priority for Aveva and our people.
Right. So going forward, what is the vision for this CSR program? How do you see it, taking the cause of environment to greater heights, if I may say?
Our vision is to continually improve the sustainability performance of real estate, adopting wherever possible, exploring all green energy options. At the same time, we are also trying to have collaborative relationship with our suppliers, vendors, and partners, or other parties who are interested to collaborate to facilitate knowledge exchange. We are also working very hard to encourage our employees to participate or support whatever causes they think fine and in alignment with our overall social well-being framework or Action for Good framework.
I'm glad you talked about your employees and how they are associated with various causes. So can you talk about some of them, the causes that are championed by Aveva, especially in India?
Yes. So as you know, we have been initiating and supporting various programs to support various causes across globe. But if I talk about very specific to India, We have been supporting NGOs supporting HIV infected kids. We also been supporting one of the NGO who they are very active supporting war widows, and recently we supported Heritage Project in Bangalore.
Right. So, you know, being at the helm of CSR, of corporate social responsibility, if I may, you know, spell it out, what does it mean to you and how do you do things differently?
Thank you for asking this question, because we are really different from that perspective, because we do not call CSR. So we call it social well-being, because for Aveva, employee is very important. So Aveva employs the core, or our people is the core of everything, whatever we do. And once we say CSR, it's very corporate-centric kind of initiative. So we are not calling CSR as CSR, we are calling social well-being, because we feel it's a well-being of an employee, well-being of our society, well-being of our environment, well-being of our communities.
Right. On that note, I hope this well-being goes to really newer heights, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
This plantation drive is just a medium to work towards consistent change and sustained efforts towards protecting our environment. With Aveva's commitment to support many of such employee-led programs, initiatives and causes, the underlying message is that each one of us should plant a tree and take care of our neighboring surroundings. With that, it's a wrap on this episode. Thank you for watching and goodbye.